Have you ever wondered what hides beneath the waves? Not monsters, but beings that look just like us? Hey, I'm Sam, and tonight's mega episode uncovers 36 ocean legends. The first creature on our list is the mermaid, the half-woman, half-fish being who's been part of seafaring stories for centuries. But don't be fooled by the soft songs and shining tales. Mermaids weren't always kind. In early folklore, they were omens of death. Sailors believed spotting one meant the voyage would end in disaster. Their faces were beautiful, but their eyes were cold, watching from the waves. The ocean itself seemed to breathe with them, calm one moment, cruel the next. The earliest mentions of mermaids come from Assyrian mythology, where a goddess named Atargatis turned herself into a fish after falling in love with a mortal. Greek stories turned them into sirens, voices that lured ships into the rocks. In Celtic legends, they were Selkies and sea maidens who could drag entire crews beneath the tide. The details change, but one thing stays the same. They always appear between calm and chaos, between beauty and fear. Here's the twist. Reports of real mermaids lasted well into the 1800s. Sailors returning from long voyages swore they'd seen women swimming far out at sea, their hair floating like seaweed. Scientists now think they were seeing manatees or dugongs, gentle creatures mistaken for something magical. Next on our list is the siren, the singer of death, whose voice could sink a fleet. Unlike the mermaid, the siren wasn't half fish, but half bird in the earliest Greek tales, a creature of cliffs, not waves. She waited above the sea, her songs so beautiful that no man could resist steering toward them. And when the ships crashed, she simply watched as the waves took everything. Her song wasn't about love, it was about power. According to Greek mythology, the sirens were companions of Persephone. When Hades stole her away, the gods punished them, giving them wings so they could search forever, but never find her. Over time, their image changed, merging with the sea. Medieval sailors redrew them as half fish, half woman, the ancestors of the mermaid myth. And in every version, they still sing, not to seduce, but to control. The sea, after all, doesn't ask, it demands. Scientists believe that the siren's myth may have roots in real ocean sounds, low-frequency hums, natural echoes, or whale songs that ancient sailors couldn't explain. But even now, some say the ocean still sings, deep sounds, recorded by sonar that no one can identify. Are they whales, machines, or something older that never stopped calling? The next creature is the Selkie, a being born from cold tides and loneliness. In Scottish and Irish folklore, Selkies are seals who can shed their skins to become human. By moonlight, they rise from the sea, leave their pelts on the sand, and dance like people until dawn. But if someone steals their seal skin, they're trapped, forced to live as humans, bound to whoever holds it. Most stories end the same way, with sorrow. A Selkie wife, stolen from the sea, eventually finds her skin again and disappears forever. These legends came from coastal villages where life depended on the sea. Fishermen told tales of strangers appearing after storms, beautiful, quiet, with eyes too dark and deep to be human. Some said they were Selkies who had lost their skins. Others claimed they could marry one, live years together, and still never truly know them. The ocean always takes back what belongs to it. Yet science has its own explanation. Many scholars believe the Selkie myth grew from encounters with real seals, seen through the fog of grief and superstition. Loneliness at sea made the line between animal and spirit blur. Even today, the Selkie story inspires songs, films, and poems, always about longing, belonging, and loss. Do they exist? No. But when the waves shimmer under a full moon, it's easy to believe someone out there is still waiting to go home. Next up is the Ningo, Japan's strange and haunting version of the mermaid. But unlike the beauty of Western legends, the Ningo was never meant to enchant. It was meant to warn. Described as a small creature with a monkey's mouth, golden scales, and a faint human face, it was said that catching one brought storms and disaster. Its cry sounded like music underwater, a sound both beautiful and unbearable. Ancient records say fishermen who caught a Ningo often threw it back immediately, fearing the curse that came with it. But there's another side to the story. Those who ate its flesh were said to live forever. One legend tells of a girl who unknowingly ate Ningo meat and remained young for centuries, wandering from temple to temple, burdened by her endless life. In Japanese art, the Ningyo was both sacred and tragic, a symbol of beauty that should never be touched. Some historians believe the Ningyo myth began with sightings of real deep-sea creatures, oarfish, giant salamanders, or even deformed dolphins washed ashore after storms. Yet even now, fishermen in Japan tell stories of glowing shapes beneath the waves. Are they fish, or something older that still watches from below? Science says no. But when the sea glows at night and the wind falls silent, it's easy to hear the faint cry of a creature that should never have been caught. Before we dive into the next legend, I want to know what you think. If you saw something strange moving under the water, would you believe it was just nature or something mythical? Tell me in the comments below. Few talk about it, but deep sea myths speak of the Cecaelia, beings that are half human, half octopus. Their upper bodies resemble ours, but from the waist down, they bloom into tentacles, graceful, shifting, and terrifying. Some stories say they lure divers and sailors with beauty. Others call them ocean guardians, who destroy those who pollute the sea. In every version, they embody both sides of the ocean, seductive and merciless. While the Cecaelia legend feels modern, its roots run deep. Ancient Greek art shows tritons and sea spirits with tentacled limbs, while Pacific Islander stories tell of deities with arms like eels who ruled the reefs. In Japanese folklore, drawings of creatures called akorokamui, giant red octopus spirits, match the same shape and nature. Across cultures, the idea repeats. The ocean is alive, and sometimes it looks back. What's fascinating is how close myth comes to reality. Deep-sea explorers have filmed octopuses displaying intelligence so eerie, it almost feels human. They solve puzzles, open jars, even mimic other animals. Scientists say it's just evolution, but to storytellers, it's proof that the line between us and them was never that clear. Do Cecaelia exist? Probably not. But when a diver's light fades into darkness and something moves with impossible grace, just beyond reach, the legend doesn't feel so far-fetched. The next beings on our list are the Finnfolk, mysterious sea people from the cold waters around Orkney and Shetland. They're said to live in a shimmering underwater city called Finnfolkaheme, where light bends like glass and time itself slows. Unlike mermaids, the Finnfolk aren't always kind. They're travelers between land and sea, known for stealing humans to make them their unwilling spouses. If a Finnman or Finnwife desired you, there was no escape. They'd pull you beneath the waves and vanish into the depths. Old islanders believed the Finnfolk could appear perfectly human, blending among sailors and villagers, only to return to the sea when discovered. Folklore describes them as tall, dark, and impossibly beautiful, their skin shimmering faintly in moonlight. Some say these tales began as warnings, stories about strangers, storms, and the sea's hidden dangers. Others believe the Finnfolk are echoes of forgotten gods, fading spirits of an older ocean. Still, divers whisper of strange lights deep below Orkney, moving like cities alive in the dark. Coincidence? Maybe. But in the North Sea, where fog hides everything, it's easy to believe the Finnfolk are still out there, waiting to reclaim what's theirs. Next is the Yara, a spirit of the Amazon's rivers. Beautiful, dangerous, and impossible to forget. Her name means Lady of the Water, and like a siren, she lures those who hear her song. Fishermen say she appears at dusk, rising from calm water with green eyes, long dark hair, and a voice that pulls you closer before you realize you've gone too far. The surface ripples, the song fades, and you're never seen again. In Brazilian folklore, Yara wasn't always a monster. Some say she was once a warrior, betrayed by her jealous brothers and thrown into the river. The waters spared her, transforming her into a guardian or a curse, depending on who you ask. To some, she punishes the cruel. To others, she tempts the innocent. Entire villages used to leave offerings by the shore. Jewelry, perfume, even mirrors, hoping to please the woman of the river before traveling downstream. What's strange is how often modern fishermen still report her, not by name, but in stories of glowing shapes, singing voices, or sudden vanishings in still water. Science calls it sound distortion, echoes, or hallucination. Yet those who live along the river swear they know the difference. The jungle has its own way of keeping secrets, and the Yara may be one of them. The next figure is Mami Wata, one of the most powerful and enduring water spirits across Africa and the diaspora. Her name means Mother of Waters, and she's often described as breathtakingly beautiful, part woman, part serpent, surrounded by mirrors, shells, and jewels. To those who worship her, Mami Wata isn't a monster or a mermaid. She's a goddess of wealth, healing, and desire. But she's also unpredictable, blessing some while destroying others who cross her. For centuries, traders, sailors, and travelers along the coasts of West and Central Africa told stories of her sudden appearances: a flash of scales in the moonlight, a shimmer beneath the surface, a woman brushing her hair beside the waves. Through the slave trade and colonial expansion, her image spread across continents, blending with European mermaid tales and Indian snake deities. Each culture reshaped her, yet the essence remained. She is beauty, danger, and mystery made flesh. Even today, Mami Wata temples thrive from Nigeria to Haiti, her image painted in churches, shrines, and street art. Does she exist? Maybe not in body, but her presence is everywhere, in dreams, in art, and in the waves that still whisper her name. Our next being is the Encantado, a creature born from the rivers of the Amazon, a pink river dolphin that can take human form. By day, it swims beneath the surface, shy and playful, but when night falls and the moonlight touches the water, it becomes something else, a charming stranger, dressed in white, appearing suddenly at festivals and gatherings. It dances, flirts, and disappears before dawn, always near the river, always watching. In Amazonian legend, the Encantado is both seductive and tragic. Some say it takes humans to its underwater city, never to return. Others believe it seeks companionship, trying to escape the loneliness of its world. What's remarkable is how enduring the legend remains. Even today, locals along the Amazon claim to see men with oddly smooth skin or hear flutes playing near the water when no one's there. Number 10 on our list is the Yakaruna, a water spirit feared and revered in Amazonian lore. The name means water people, but they're nothing like us. They live in inverted cities beneath the rivers, houses upside down, fish swimming through the air, and time flowing backward. The Yakaruna themselves are described as humanoid but strange. Their feet face backward, their eyes gleam red, and their bodies shimmer like whetstone. When they rise to the surface, they can transform into beautiful men or women to lure humans away. According to legend, anyone who disappears near the riverbanks might have been taken by them, pulled beneath the water, transformed, and made to forget their old life. Shamans say the Yakaruna can grant power or healing, but only if approached with respect. They rule over giant serpents, pink dolphins, and all river creatures, keeping the balance between the living and the unseen. Those who offend the river are said to draw their wrath, sickness, storms, or strange dreams that never fade. Next comes the Serena Chilota, a guardian of the Chilean seas and one of the most sacred beings of South American folklore. She's said to be half human, half fish, with long golden hair and eyes as bright as sunlight through water. Unlike most mermaids, she isn't a creature of temptation or destruction. She's a protector. Alongside her brother, the Triton Chilote, she guides the spirits of drowned sailors to their rest and watches over all life in the sea. Her story comes from the Chilote mythology of southern Chile, where the ocean is more than water. It's alive. Locals say the Sirena was born from the union of a human woman and the sea king Milalobo, ruler of all marine beings. She appears during calm tides, singing softly as dolphins and seals gather around her. If fishermen hear her melody, they know the sea is safe, but if the waters fall silent, it means she has turned away and danger is near. Our final creature is the Vodianoi, a spirit that haunts the rivers, ponds, and mill streams of Slavic legend. He appears as an old, bloated man with frog-like skin, a beard of weeds, and eyes that glow faintly beneath the surface. When angered, he overturns boats, drowns swimmers, and drags the careless into his dark domain. But he's not mindless. He's a keeper of the water, deciding who lives and who vanishes beneath it. Fishermen once threw offerings of tobacco or bread before casting their nets, whispering his name for safe passage. In the oldest tales, the Vodianoi is both feared and respected, a god turned ghost, as people forgot the old ways. He lives in underwater mills, surrounded by drowned souls who serve him like workers. Sedna, the Inuit goddess who rules over all marine life. Her story isn't one of power, but of betrayal and transformation. Once a human woman, Sedna was thrown into the icy waters by her own father to calm a raging storm. As she clung to the side of his boat, he cut off her fingers. And from those fingers, the seals, whales, and walruses were born. She sank to the bottom of the ocean, where she became its ruler. In Inuit belief, Sedna's moods shape the seas. When she's calm, the waters are generous, teeming with life. When she's angry, storms rise, and hunters find nothing but empty ice. Shamans would journey to her underwater realm to comb her tangled hair. a symbolic act of soothing her rage and restoring balance to the world above. Today, Sedna remains one of the most powerful figures in Arctic mythology. Not a villain, but a reminder. The ocean gives, but only when it's respected. From the frozen Arctic, we travel to the warm Pacific, where the deep blue belongs to Canaloa, the Hawaiian god of the ocean. He's often seen as the counterpart to Cain, the god of creation and sunlight. Where Cain brings life, Canaloa governs mystery, the vast, shadowed depths no one can truly see. In ancient chants, Canaloa is described as a mighty squid or octopus, his tentacles stretching across the seafloor. He ruled over tides, healing, and the sacred knowledge of navigation. For the Hawaiian people, Canaloa wasn't just a god. He was the spirit that carried voyagers safely across endless water. Fishermen would whisper his name before setting sail, asking the ocean to remain calm and forgiving. Even today, the name Canaloa appears across the islands, in caves, volcanic pools, and sacred places believed to connect directly to the sea. He represents the part of nature we still can't control, the quiet, infinite power beneath the waves. Few names command as much awe as Poseidon, the Greek god of the ocean. Brother of Zeus and Hades, he ruled everything beneath the waves, from gentle tides to raging tempests. In myth, his trident could split the earth and summon earthquakes, earning him the title Earthshaker. Sailors feared and revered him in equal measure, offering sacrifices before every voyage to keep his wrath at bay. Poseidon's moods mirrored the sea itself, calm one moment, violent the next. He could bless a ship with smooth winds or drag it under without warning. Horses were sacred to him, said to have sprung from the ocean's foam when his trident struck the ground. Cities like Corinth and Atlantis claimed his favor, and even now, statues of him still guard harbors across Greece. Over time, Poseidon became more than a god. He became a symbol of power without mercy. The ocean wasn't his kingdom, it was his weapon, and every wave carried his name. Where Poseidon ruled with fury, his son Triton carried the sea's voice. Half man, half fish, Triton was the messenger of the ocean, known for his conch shell trumpet that could calm or summon storms with a single breath. Ancient sailors believed that when the wind changed without warning, it was Triton's horn echoing through the waves. He lived in golden palaces beneath the sea, surrounded by merfolk and sea spirits, serving as his father's herald. In some tales, he guided lost sailors home. In others, he played tricks, hiding ships in fog or luring them off course just to test their courage. Triton wasn't evil, he was balance. His power came from the sound of the ocean itself, both warning and comfort. Even today, Triton's image endures, carved on fountains, painted on ships, and immortalized in stories. When the sea roars or hums, it's said to be his song, a reminder that the ocean always speaks, whether we listen or not. If you've made it this far, I've got a question for you. Which ocean god do you think still watches over the waters today? Drop your answer in the comments before we dive deeper into the next legends. From calm Mediterranean waters, we move east to Japan, where the seas answer to Susanu, the god of storms and the ocean. Born from the nose of the creator god Izanagi, Susanu is wild, unpredictable, and powerful, a spirit that embodies both chaos and courage. In myth, his tempers shook heaven itself. After being banished from the celestial realm, Susanu descended to earth, where his story changed from destruction to redemption. He met a grieving family whose daughters had been devoured by an 8-headed serpent, Yamata no Orochi. Susanu vowed to slay the beast. He prepared 8 vats of sacred sake, tricked the serpent into drinking, and cut it down, finding a legendary sword inside its tail, later gifted to the sun goddess Amaterasu. That act transformed him from exile to hero. Today, Susanu stands as the symbol of divine rebellion, the storm that refuses to bow. He reminds us that even chaos has a purpose when guided by courage. Beneath Japan's waves lies the shimmering palace of Ryujin, the dragon god of the sea. He's not a monster, but a ruler, eyes powerful, and ancient. Legends say his home, Ryugujo, rests deep beneath the ocean floor, built of coral, pearls, and crystal light. From there, he commands the tides, the rain, and every creature that swims. Ryujin could take the form of a giant dragon or a noble man draped in scales. Fishermen prayed to him for calm seas and safe voyages, offering shells or sake as gifts. One of his treasures was the Tide Jewel, a sacred gem that could raise or lower the oceans at will. When angered, storms erupted. When pleased, the waters lay still as glass. His tales are intertwined with Japan's imperial lineage, where he's said to be an ancestor of emperors, a divine guardian who bridges heaven and sea. Even now, dragon carvings in shrines and temples honor Ryujin's watchful power, reminding people that the ocean's heart beats with his pulse. From Japan's Dragon King, we move to China, to Nuwa, the goddess who shaped humanity and repaired the heavens themselves. She's often shown as half-woman, half-serpent, her long tail coiling through clouds and rivers. In ancient stories, Nuwa molded the first humans from yellow clay, breathing life into them with divine care. But her greatest act came when the sky itself began to fall. The pillars of heaven had shattered, flooding the world with chaos and water. Mountains crumbled, rivers burst their banks, and the sky split open. Nuwa gathered 5 colored stones and melted them together, patching the heavens and restoring balance to earth. It was said her tears of exhaustion became rain, blessings to the people she saved. Nuwa's name still echoes in Chinese art, temples, and poetry. She represents creation, compassion, and renewal, a goddess who reminds us that even when the world breaks, it can be rebuilt by love and strength. Deep beneath the surface of Japan's seas dwells Watatsumi, also known as the Sea King. In Shinto belief, he is a dragon god who rules over the ocean's 3 layers: the surface, the depths, and the hidden currents that guide all water. His palace, Watatsumi no Miya, is said to lie at the ocean floor, glowing with light from sacred pearls and guarded by sea creatures that serve him in silence. In one of Japan's oldest myths, a hunter named Huri lost his brother's fishing hook. Following a trail of bubbles, he dove into Watatsumi's realm to find it, and instead fell in love with the Sea King's daughter. After years beneath the sea, Huri returned to the surface with the hook, blessed by Watatsumi himself. Ever since, Japan's emperors were said to carry his divine bloodline, tying the nation's fate to the ocean. Watatsumi isn't a god of destruction. He's a guardian of order, ensuring the sea remains balanced between calm and storm. To the faithful, every tide is his breath, and every wave carries a whisper of his name. From the eastern seas of Japan, we travel to ancient India, where Varuna reigns over the cosmic ocean, not just the waters of Earth, but the endless sea that surrounds existence itself. In early Vedic hymns, he is the guardian of order, truth, and the moral law that binds gods and humans alike. The rivers, rain, and stars all move according to his will. Varuna's gaze was said to reach everywhere. Watching over the actions of humankind, he carried a noose, not as a weapon of vengeance, but as a symbol of justice, to capture those who broke their oaths or disturbed the balance of the world. His realm wasn't chaos but clarity, the calm, vast sea that mirrors the heavens. In later traditions, Varuna's domain shifted to the ocean, where he became the god of water and the protector of sailors. He rides a sea creature called Makara, part crocodile, part fish, across the endless blue. Even today, his name is invoked in sacred rituals, reminding believers that truth, like the tide, always returns. Where Poseidon ruled with fury, Amphetrite ruled with grace. She was the queen of the sea, wife of the earthshaker himself, and mother to creatures of tide and storm. In Greek mythology, she wasn't a goddess of destruction, but of depth, calm, elegant, and mysterious, representing the ocean's beauty beneath its chaos. Legends say she was one of the 50 Nereids, daughters of the sea god Nereus. Poseidon first saw her dancing among dolphins and fell in love instantly. but she fled from him, hiding in the farthest waters. Only when a dolphin found her and persuaded her to return did she become Poseidon's queen. And the dolphin was rewarded with a place among the stars. While her husband commanded the waves, Amphetrite ruled the life within them, nurturing the creatures that swam under her protection. Ancient poets called her the face of the sea. Radiant, yet untouchable. Even now, she represents the quiet strength of those who guide power without needing to wield it. Across the windswept coasts of Ireland, sailors once whispered the name Mananan Lear, the sea god who guided souls and guarded the borders between worlds. Son of Lear, he was more than a ruler of the ocean. He was its mystery itself. Mananan commanded the mists that hid his realm, using them to protect travelers and to conceal his enchanted island, Emain Ablach, said to lie somewhere beyond mortal reach. He was a trickster, a teacher, and a guide. In Celtic myth, he ferried the spirits of the dead to the afterlife, his chariot drawn by horses that ran over waves instead of land, his cloak of invisibility and his ship that moved without sail or oar made him a symbol of the sea's ungraspable nature, always shifting, always watching. Even now, Irish legends say when the horizon fades into mist, Mananan is near, guiding the lost home or leading them to the next world. To those who respect the sea, he is protector. To those who don't, he is warning. Before Mananan, and last on our list, was Lear, the ancient Celtic god who embodied the sea itself. His name simply means ocean, and through him, the Celts saw both the beauty and the sorrow of the waves. He wasn't just a deity of storms. He was the spirit of the tide, the endless rise and fall that connects life and death. Lear's most famous story is one of tragedy. After his wife died, he remarried a woman who grew jealous of his children. In her envy, she cursed them, transforming them into swans, condemned to wander Ireland's waters for 900 years. Lear's grief became legend, his tears mingling with the waves, his sorrow echoing across every shore. To the Celts, the ocean wasn't cruel under Lear's rule. It was emotional, alive, and deeply human. It could rage, it could mourn, and it could heal. Even now, when the sea turns gray and mournful before a storm, sailors say it's Lear remembering the children he lost. So maybe that's the real truth of the sea gods. They weren't just rulers or monsters, but mirrors. Each one reflected the people who feared them, worshipped them, or trusted them to guide them home. Because the ocean, like the gods themselves, always gives back what you bring to it. The Kappa, Japan's river demon, small, green, and half turtle. It looks almost harmless, but every villager knew better. The Kappa lives in ponds and rivers, waiting for anyone who gets too close to the edge. It drags victims underwater and drains their strength through a dish of water on its head, the source of its life. In legend, the Kappa is a trickster, not pure evil. It challenges people to sumo matches, steals cucumbers, and sometimes helps those who treat it kindly. Its greatest weakness is manners. If you bow to it, it must bow back, spilling the water from its head and losing its power. That one act can save your life. Old stories say parents warned children, never play near still water, because if you saw ripples without wind, the Kappa was near. Today, it appears in anime, manga, and even as city mascots, playful reminders of old fears. But behind the cute faces, the myth remains the same. The calmest waters hide the hungriest spirits. But not every spirit hides in rivers. Some rise from the endless sea, where silence itself becomes a warning. Second on our list is Umeiu, Japan's dark spirit of the sea. He appears when the storm ends, when the air goes still and the fog turns heavy. Fishermen feared that silence most, because that's when the sea monk rose from the deep, a huge black shape with a smooth round head, faceless, silent, and watching. Stories say Umeiu speaks only once, to ask for a bucket. If the sailors hand him one with a bottom, he fills it until the ship sinks. The only way to survive is to give him a bottomless bucket and flee while he's confused. Some say he's the ghost of a drowned monk. Others think he's the sea itself taking form. Even today, when the ocean suddenly calms after a storm, Japanese fishermen still remember his name. In anime and horror stories, he's a symbol of that moment, when peace feels wrong, when you realize the sea is holding its breath, Japan feared what came from the ocean, but in Australia, people feared what waited in the swamps. The next creature is the Bunyip, the swamp monster of Australia. It hides in billabongs, creeks, and waterholes, waiting for anyone who dares to swim at night. Descriptions vary. Some say it's covered in dark fur, with a dog's head and flippers like a seal. Others claim it's part crocodile, part bird, with a haunting cry that echoes across the wetlands. Aboriginal stories say the Bunyip guards sacred waters, punishing those who break taboos or trespass on forbidden land. Early settlers feared it too. They wrote about strange roars in the night and found enormous tracks in the mud, but no one ever caught it. Only silence and ripples remained. Today, the Bunyip lives on in Australian folklore and pop culture, from museums to children's books. Some say it's just a way to keep kids away from deep water. Others think something once lived there, something that still moves when the moon hits the swamp just right. From warm wetlands to mist-covered lochs, another creature waits, one that doesn't just watch from the water, it invites you in. Meet Uisge, the deadly water horse of Scotland. It looks majestic, almost inviting, with a slick black coat that glistens beside the shore, but those who touch it are doomed. The moment a rider climbs on, their hands stick to its skin. Then, the creature bolts into the lake, dragging its victim beneath the surface and tearing them apart before surfacing again in silence. In Highland folklore, the Uisge could appear as a fine horse, a bird, or a handsome stranger. Its goal was always the same: to lure, drown, and feed. Villagers said that only a victim's liver ever floated back to shore, proof that the creature had eaten the rest. It was said to haunt lonely lochs and misty inlets, watching from the shallows. Travelers learned never to trust a beautiful horse near water. Today, the Uisge appears in modern tales and dark fantasy, but its message remains simple. Not every invitation from nature is meant to be accepted. These tales of cursed horses make you wonder, why do so many legends warn us not to trust what waits by the water? Let me know in the comments if you think there's truth behind stories like this one. Next is the Kelpie, Scotland's shape-shifting water spirit. At first it seems harmless, a lone horse grazing by the riverbank, its coat slick with dew. But when someone climbs onto its back, the creature's skin turns sticky as tar. The Kelpie charges into the water, dragging its victim down to the depths. It devours them whole, leaving nothing behind but a few floating bubbles. Unlike the Uisge, the Kelpie haunts rivers and streams instead of deep lochs. Legends say it can take human form, often as a dark-haired man with cold, wet skin and eyes like still water. It lures travelers with soft words and sudden beauty. Some stories say it even cries out like a drowning person to draw rescuers closer. In Scottish folklore, iron and church bells could drive it away, but few dared to test that. Today, the Kelpie has become a symbol of mystery and power, even inspiring giant horse statues in Scotland. Yet, beneath the art, the warning remains: the water always wants something back. Across the sea, Europe tells of something smaller, but no less eerie, a being that collects what the water takes. Our next spirit is the Vodnik, the green water goblin of Central Europe. He's not a roaring monster, but something stranger, a thin, pale man with webbed hands, algae in his hair, and clothes soaked in pond water. He lives beneath old mill ponds and slow rivers, smoking a pipe and mending torn fishing nets while waiting for someone to fall in. In Czech and Slavic folklore, the Vodnik collects souls and stores them in glass jars at the bottom of his pond. Each jar glows faintly, whispering like a trapped breath. Sometimes he does it out of malice, other times just for company. People said you could hear faint laughter under the bridge when someone drowned. The Vodnik, adding another voice to his collection. Today, he's remembered in stories and statues, smiling like an old fisherman. But every grin hides the same warning: still water isn't empty. Something is always watching from below. The next spirit is the Rusalka, the ghostly water nymph of Slavic legend. She appears as a young woman with pale skin, long green hair, and eyes that never blink. To travelers, she looks lost or crying by the riverbank. But those who approach her never walk away again. When a man gets close, she pulls him into the water, wrapping her arms around him until his breath is gone. In ancient tales, Rusalkas were the spirits of women who drowned before their time, betrayed lovers, unwed brides, or victims of despair. Their anger tied them to the water, cursed to drag others down. Some stories say they dance under the moon, their laughter echoing like ripples. Others claim they rise rise from the depths only in spring, when rivers awaken from ice. Today, the Rusalka appears in ballet, paintings, and films, often softened into a tragic figure. But old stories never pitied her. She wasn't searching for love. She was searching for revenge. From rivers of Europe to the islands of the Pacific, the next tale comes from Melanesia, the story of Abaya, a giant eel said to guard sacred lakes. Unlike most monsters, Abaya isn't driven by hunger. It's a protector. It watches over every creature in its waters, punishing anyone who disturbs the peace. In legend, those who fish where they shouldn't face sudden storms or are pulled beneath by invisible hands, none return. People said the Abaya could stir the lake at will, summoning whirlpools, waves, even floods when angered. Some believed it was so enormous that its body filled the lake entirely, unseen but always present. To this day, villagers tell children to respect the quiet waters, because if a lake suddenly ripples with no wind, it means the guardian below has opened its eyes, and it never forgives trespassers. But not every guardian shows mercy. In the Philippines, they speak of the Berberoka, a creature that uses the water itself as bait. It begins by draining a pond or river until the fish flop helplessly on the ground. When villagers rush in to collect them, the Berberoka strikes. It releases the water in a violent rush, drowning everyone in seconds. Then it feeds. Stories from northern Luzon describe it as a bloated, frog-like being with sharp teeth and a huge mouth. Some say it can swell its body like a balloon to swallow prey whole. Others think it's a spirit of vengeance, punishing greed and disrespect toward nature. Either way, no one who sees it twice lives to tell. Even today, fishermen still whisper its name when floods come without warning, because in their eyes, the Berberoka isn't just a monster, it's the river remembering every time people took more than they gave. From the warm rivers of the Philippines, we move to the icy waters of the Arctic. There, the Inuit tell of the Kalupalik, a sea witch who lives beneath the frozen waves. She's described as pale green, with long hair drifting like seaweed and skin cold as ice. Her voice calls softly from cracks in the ice, singing lullabies that only children can hear. Legends say the Kalupalik steals those who wander too close to the shore. She slips her long fingers through the water, pulls them under, and carries them away in a pouch on her back. Some say she keeps them forever, feeding on their warmth to stay alive. Others believe she turns them into spirits like herself, trapped between sea and sky. Parents told this story to warn their children never to stray near the ice, but over time, the tale became more than a warning. It became a truth the Arctic still whispers, that the sea has hands, and they reach for anyone who listens too closely. As we leave the frozen north behind, we reach the riverbanks of Latin America, where people still whisper the name La Llorona, the weeping woman. Her story is one of sorrow and punishment. Long ago, she drowned her children in a fit of rage or despair, and when she realized what she'd done, she took her own life. But the afterlife offered no peace. Her spirit returned to wander the rivers at night, crying for the children she can never find. They say her wails echo through valleys and streets, a sound that freezes anyone who hears it. Those who follow her voice are never seen again, pulled into the dark water by cold, unseen hands. In some regions, she's a warning to those who mistreat family. In others, she's a sign that death is near. Even today, mothers tell her story to keep children away from dangerous waters. But when night falls and the wind carries a faint sob, everyone listens, just in case it isn't the wind at all. And our final creature comes from the ancient waters of Aztec legend, the Auizotal. It's said to live where rivers meet the sea, lurking just below the surface. Small but deadly, the Auizotal resembles a dog or otter with smooth black skin, pointed ears, and a tail ending in a human hand. That hand is its weapon. It grabs the ankles of anyone standing too close to the water's edge and drags them beneath. In Aztec belief, the Auizotal didn't kill without purpose. It served the gods of the underworld, collecting the souls of the chosen, priests, nobles, and travelers fated to die by water. Afterward, their bodies were said to wash ashore, eyes missing and bones polished clean, proof that the gods had accepted the offering. Even centuries later, fishermen in Mexico still warn of strange splashes on calm nights. They say if you hear crying near the river, don't look for the source, because the Auizotal's hand doesn't just pull bodies down, it pulls spirits too. If you enjoyed exploring the haunted rivers and forgotten lakes of the world, don't forget to subscribe. There are countless more spirits and creatures waiting just beneath the surface. From Japan's tricksters to the Aztec demons of the deep, every culture has its own warning about the water. Respect it or be claimed by it. We've met guardians, monsters, and souls who never found peace. But the one thing they share is simple. The stillest waters always hide the loudest stories. Thank you for watching. My name is Sam, and yeah, I'm really smart.